I actually almost had flames shooting out of my furnace, according to the...
You know what? Let's fast forward a little bit.
Glowing, it had cracks, it was about to blow, and apparently it can shoot flames out. So,
Actually, there's something you need to know before we dive in. I live in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and the winters pose a little bit of a challenge. Things are hard enough. The last thing we needed was for our furnace to die in February. Hey everybody, present day Justin here, all nice and warm and toasty, unlike 1 week ago Justin, who was freezing cold in early February with his furnace shut down. Anyway, how about I walk you through the whole process of how we were able to stay warm while our furnace was shut down and ensure we were still getting a really good deal on a new furnace despite being desperate, because there are two crucial rules of deal making that I want to cover right now. Never let them know how bad or how quickly you want it, and never accept the first offer. Ready to get started? Let's do this. A furnace can actually be one of the most important investments in your home. The right furnace and installation can save you thousands of dollars, but get it wrong and it can cost you way more than that. And I'm not just talking about money here. An improperly installed or maintained furnace can be a serious threat to your health and even your life. They can be a fire hazard and leak deadly carbon monoxide. The fun had to end sometime. In this video, I will walk you through our experience, how to choose the right furnace, key safety tips to prevent fires, and how to protect yourself and your family from deadly carbon monoxide poisoning. The first thing you need to do if your furnace dies in the middle of winter is stay warm. And I don't mean just you and your family. I mean, heat your house. You know, when your furnace dies, it sucks. But having a burst pipe happen at the same time, well, if it could get any worse, that would be about it.
No! No! No!
So at first I thought we were going to have to pack up the cat and go to my mom's place, but then I decided to go to the Home Depot and buy a whole bunch of heaters to stay warm at home. Pro tip, they take everything back. Just keep the boxes. I just wanted to take this moment to give everybody a quick heads up. There are some bonuses available for you. Check out the video description to see how you can get $50 when signing up with Questrade or $25 with Wealthsimple. I personally use and love both platforms, and these referral links help support both you and the channel.
By winning, I win here and I win there. Now what?
The second thing you need to do is buy a new furnace, and don't cheap out because it will cost you down the line. Just a quick note that there are different types of furnaces. Gas are the most common and efficient for most homes. They heat quickly but require proper venting. That'll be the focus of this video because we bought a gas furnace. Now, I mentioned efficiency. It's really important to check out the AFUE rating, which tells you how much of the energy you put into the furnace is converted into heat. And AFUE does not stand for the US Emperor because he's tariffing out of us. No, it doesn't stand for that. No, it stands for annual fuel utilization efficiency. I recommend you look for something that's above 95%, and here's why. Average cost for natural gas heating is around $1,300 per year in Canada, depending, of course, on where you live, your furnace efficiency, and the size of your home. Obviously, if you're balling like Drake, then it's going to cost a lot more per year. Now, if you're replacing an 80% AFUE furnace with a 96% AFUE model, then you could save about $217 per year. A 98%er would save you $238 per year. Over 10 years, that's well over $2,000, so it's often worth it to go with one of the higher efficiency models, and they're better for the planet too. Now, Drake's house in Toronto is like 50,000 square feet, so he could save like $50,000 per year. I'll give him a call right after we're done here, just to give him a heads up.
Hey Drake, it's Justin. Hello?
A really good furnace can last 15 to 20 years, so at the high end of that estimate, you could be saving over $5,000 with a 98% AFUE unit compared to an 80%er. If you're deciding between newer models and comparing 98% to 90, that's the minimum efficiency allowed in Canada. Over 20 years, the difference would be almost $2,000. But if it's between 98 and 95%, then that number gets a lot smaller. It's around $700 in savings. Again, that's based on an average of $1,300 a year for gas heating costs and a 20-year furnace life. So spending a little more on a higher-end furnace can save you on gas prices in the long run, but it can also save you on maintenance costs as well. I just want to mention one really great resource for looking up authentic reviews. In case you're not familiar, Consumer Reports is an independent nonprofit organization that tests, reviews, and rates products and services to help consumers make informed purchasing decisions. If you don't want to pay for a subscription, you can also look up reviews on Yelp and Reddit. I find they are the best sources, whereas alternatives on the internet might not be authentic. The salesperson from the company I went with showed me a printout from Consumer Reports, so I will summarize it briefly in terms of predicted reliability and owner satisfaction. Rounding out the top 5 are, in no particular order, Trane, American Standard, Bryant, Carrier, and Lennox. Okay, important to note that if a furnace is too large, it will short cycle, wasting energy and wearing out faster. The right size depends on square footage, installation, and climate. A professional can help you with this calculation, and I recommend getting more than one, and of course, getting multiple quotes. I got about 10, but I'm a little crazy when it comes to this kind of thing, and I wanted to present to you all of the different options that I got. I'll get into all of that momentarily, but first let's go back to cold Justin in the past, down in the basement, and look at what went wrong with our furnace. Going back in time, whoa!
I actually almost had flames shooting out of my furnace, according to the technician, because the heat exchanger coil was overheating, dramatically overheating, to the point where it was glowing. It had cracks, it was about to blow, and apparently it can shoot flames out. Kind of got a feeling like I did after I used to play arena lacrosse. Lucky to be alive.
Career's going to the box, deservedly so.
That ball, I think, hit him right in the face.
Super important to get a great installer, just as important as the actual furnace that you buy. And even if you have a maintenance contract, it is a pain in the ass. A lot of these parts aren't in. You have to wait for it. And if you're in the cold, like we are, waiting for it sucks. So getting a quality furnace and a really good quality installation, super important.
Nothing more important than keeping ourselves and our loved ones safe and healthy. So let's touch on a few important safety topics here. So a furnace that's neglected can become a major fire hazard. Here's what you need to do. Get a professional inspection yearly. If your furnace hasn't been inspected for a few years, get one ASAP. If it's over 10 years old, then get one right away. A good technician will check for cracks, leaks, and other hazards. A simple cracked heat exchanger can leak deadly carbon monoxide, and as I mentioned earlier, it can be a serious fire hazard. Number 2, keep the area around your furnace clear. No flammable items like boxes, paper, or chemicals nearby. Keep at least 3 feet of clearance around the unit. Change your filters regularly. A clogged filter restricts airflow, forcing your furnace to work harder and overheat, which can damage components or even become a fire hazard. Number 4, watch for warning signs. Strange smells, cycling on and off frequently, or a yellow pilot light on a gas furnace can signal a serious problem. A pilot light should always burn blue, not yellow. If it's yellow, call a professional immediately. Now let's talk about another serious danger, CO, aka carbon monoxide leak. Breathing in too much carbon monoxide can lead to headaches, dizziness, and nausea, and at very high levels, it can be fatal. So, to protect yourself, install carbon monoxide detectors near bedrooms and on every floor. Change the batteries every 6 months. So a good rule of thumb is to do it when the clocks change, and test them regularly. If your detector ever goes off, do not ignore it. Just get outside as soon as possible and call for help. So when should you replace your furnace? Like I said, a good furnace can last 15 to 20 years, but older units can become less efficient and more dangerous over time. So here are 3 signs that it's time for an upgrade. Your energy bills keep rising, your equipment requires frequent repairs, or it's making strange noises. No, not like that. Now here's a compelling reason to call on Reliance. If you're in a contract with them, I believe they typically expire after 7 years. It's a good idea to ask what the buyout is. Their monthly fees are typically really high compared to owning your own unit, even if you have to take out a loan. Of course, you can try and get the best interest rate that you can, but the best you are likely to get with Reliance is in the double digits. We used to rent our furnace and AC from them, and we were paying about $160 a month. So on the surface, that seemed really reasonable. After all, I wasn't dropping thousands of dollars up front on new equipment, and the monthly payment also covered any warranty-related repairs or maintenance. But over the long run, those payments really add up. Let's break it down. So over 15 years at $160 per month, that's $28,800. Over 20 years, it balloons to over 38 grand. That's multiples of the cost of a new furnace and AC. And at the end of the contract, at least with Reliance, you still don't own the equipment. Now, we could have purchased a new furnace and AC when we originally bought the house and had Reliance cart their 10-year-old low-end equipment away. Then we would have spent likely like $10,000 or less for a really high-end system. That's what we have done now. Of course, it was a few years later, so we spent a little more, and we are considering adding an extended warranty, which is only about $400 for 10 years. We got a really great deal, and I will discuss the company I went with momentarily. For ongoing inspections, I'm paying now $140, and that's only when I call to schedule somebody. This is not a regular payment. It means over 20 years, I'll spend a fraction of what I was paying Reliance. And the company I went with has been very honest. So for a brand new furnace and AC, they don't recommend yearly inspections. They say over the next 10 years that I should probably get 3 total. If you're in one of these contracts, it's worth running the numbers and seeing if a buyout or a replacement makes more sense. And make sure that you push the company if they seem unreasonable up front. One of the biggest issues I had with Reliance wasn't just the bad financial deal, but it was their dishonesty. On multiple occasions, I called them and was falsely told that I was still under contract, even though my contract had expired 5 years earlier. They said we were going to have to pay thousands of dollars to get out of it, but that turned out to be completely false. So based on my experience, I don't think this is a one-off mistake. It seems like a deliberate practice. They mislead customers into thinking they're trapped in these long-term agreements, likely hoping people will just keep paying instead of checking their contracts and or fighting back. So don't fall for that rental trap, okay? Do your own research, go with a reputable company, and avoid getting locked into a bad deal. Okay, with no further ado, let's go over some of the pricing I got while I was going through this process with the different companies I spoke with. So included in the prices I'm going to cover here, unless otherwise noted, are installation, lifetime warranty on the heat exchanger, also 10 years on parts and 2 years on labor. The first 3 were the same size and efficiency, 80,000 BTU and 96% AFUE. The first quote I got was for a Carrier, that's the model number there, and the price, about $3,700 plus tax. Next one up, a Keep Rate came in about $3,200 plus tax, and then a Blade X was about $2,700. I then got a price on a Lennox, significant step up from the Blade X, a little smaller, 70,000 BTU, same efficiency for $2,900 plus tax. Finally, I got a quote for 3 different versions of a York furnace. One was the Premium Series, the next was Standard, and the Value. All were 80,000 BTU, sized incorrectly for our home. The York Affinity, aka Premium Series, was 97% efficiency, and it came in at $7,800. The LX, or Standard Quiet Comfort Series, 96% AFUE and $5,600 plus tax. And then finally, the Value Series, also called LX, so that can be a little bit confusing. It was 95% efficiency and $4,800 plus HST. Okay, with no further ado, the company I went with, Lancaster Heating and Cooling, based in the Hamilton area, smaller company, offer great customer service. We went with a Train that they correctly sized for our house at 60,000 BTU, 97% AFUE, and I'm not going to give away the price. We got a really good deal, but if you can get something in the $5,000 range, then you are doing quite well. The warranty only included 1 year of labor, but again, for $400, we could extend that to 10 years. The parts are warranted for 10 years, and the heat exchanger is guaranteed for life. Before we wrap up, here's a quick safety checklist for your home. Schedule an annual furnace inspection if your furnace is 5 to 10 years old, or if you haven't had one in a couple of years. Replace your air filters regularly according to the specific schedule for your specific air filter. Keep your furnace area clear of flammable items. Remember that 3 foot of space around the furnace. Install carbon monoxide detectors and test them regularly. And then watch for warning signs, the odd smells, noises, or that yellow pilot light. Stay on top of these and you'll have a furnace that keeps you safe and warm all winter long. Please like and subscribe. Share this with anybody who might need a new furnace or is in a bad rental contract. Let me know in the comments if you've had any bad experiences or some really good companies that you would recommend that you have gone with. I appreciate all the likes and subscribes and all that good stuff. It helps out the channel a lot. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you again soon. Stay warm.